Before we start, I'm just going to ask you briefly that we have your permission to interview you today and permission to to record it. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, my name is Rich Schmidt. I'm the Director of Archives at Linfield College. Today is March 10th, 2020. I'm speaking on the phone with Bishop Everingham, a Linfield alum. Bishop, tell me about your early life, where you grew up and what you did before you came to Linfield.
Trenton, New Jersey, born in June 16, 1920, almost 100 years ago. I'm an antique. Let's put it that way. And had a normal life. A lot of the time I was born and raised near the Delaware River, so I spent a lot of time in boating and so and around water. And of course, when Pearl Harbor struck in December 7, 1941, I was disgusted with the Japanese. I wanted to get in on the action, so the next month, January of 42, I went to Trenton. Had no place where you could sign up. I went to Philadelphia and stopped at the Marine Corps place there and signed up. And then about a month later, they called on me, put me on a train, if you will, no planes, on a train me to Paris, Iowa, South Carolina, where I went through a Marine Corps boot camp training.
What was
from there, I went on up to advanced training at the Marine Barracks at Quantico, Virginia, and then on out to the Pacific about the month April, about 42. Pearl Harbor was December 7, 41. So it was 42 when I was shipped out to the Pacific Theater of Operations.
Tell me about the training. What did you have to do as part of the boot camp and advanced training?
Most of the training in Paris, Iowa, South Carolina, was on the rifle range. We had other training with swords and so on, but and long hikes with on Saturday mornings we do 20 miles hike. Just it was automatic, but most of the training was on the rifle range with weaponry.
So once you were shipped out to the Pacific, where did you go and what was your role? What were you doing?
I was shipped out to, let's see, okay. I spent, after training at Paris, in South Carolina, I went to training in Quantico, Virginia, and then out to San Diego.
Okay.
And I left the States from San Diego about the 12th of April, I think it was, 1942. And we did not know, of course, where we were going. Yes, it was top secret and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But we were many days on the ocean, troop transport. And finally, as we neared the place where we were going to stop and train, was Tutuila, American Samoa. And if you have a chance to go there, do not go there. It's a hellhole. The mosquitoes and heat are tremendous. So I did basic training with my outfit on Tutuila, American Samoa.
And then what happened next?
Let's see. Oh boy. Okay. They sent us to Maui, Hawaii for training. Ships ashore, amphibious training, going overboard from the troop transport into originally Higgins boats and then LCIs. LCI stands for Landing Craft Infantry. The whole bow goes down and you rush out and get ashore as quickly as possible. That's the amphibious landings training. And let's see, where were we? We trained on American Samoa and Upolu, British Samoa, which is, I'm just guessing now, maybe 200 miles, maybe less, from the American Samoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and then from there, we went to on a troop transport to Pearl Harbor. We our outfit sat in Pearl Harbor aboard the ship for about 10 days, and then all of a sudden, it was just unbelievable. The sight. First, destroyers came in, and then cruisers came in, then heavy cruisers came in, and then battle wagons came in. It's unbelievable, the naval quantity of it came in, so we knew some big combat special. Of course, the other thing was secret, and you never knew from 1 minute to the next what you were going to do next. And let's see, at that point, we were there about 10 days, and then they put us aboard two transports, which held, as I recall, about 2,000 men. You were in the hold of the ship with bunks that were stacked 6 and 7 feet high, all built in a framework. And if you were lucky, you didn't get a lower bunk. You had to climb all the other bunks to get to your bunk. So let's see, where are we? We pulled out, and let's see. I'm getting a little mixed up here.
That's okay. I'm curious. Did you have combat? Did you engage in combat at some point?
Yes, indeed. At two atolls in the Marshall Islands. Kwajalein Atoll in the Marshalls was the principal island that the Jap concentration was heavier there. And then the atoll of Eniwetok was less heavy at that point. And in our outfit, I just can't I can't remember the name of the division that we're in, but the Japs were heavily concentrated in those two atolls.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what an atoll is?
I do. Yes.
Okay, and so we invaded those islands through an amphibious operations, getting off the troop transport, so on. And the noise, I remember, was deafening. The Navy pounded the devil out of the Japs while we were landing to keep them occupied. And so the shells that the Navy lobbed in there as we advanced from the beaches, it sounded like they're 3 feet above your head. I still remember just deafening, pounding, and we took those islands. There's many, several hundred separate little sand spits in the Marshall Islands in the Pacific. Most all of them are uninhabited, and there's fresh water only in where we were after we took over the islands. I think recall about 2 major islands where the Japs concentration had fresh water. No water in the other islands. So we invaded those and got the thing under. What they said was that we'd broken up all organized resistance. We found out later that 2 or 3 Japs were still there. They were able to hide and stay away from the action. And maybe they're still down there, I don't know. But the way they put it, what we did, we broke up all organized resistance. So that left some Japs foot free, so to speak. They had nothing there. How they survived after we secured those islands. Whether they're still there or not, nobody knows. But they were in both places. They had catacombs underground. In other words, they tunneled.
Mm-hmm.
They knew we were coming, of course, but they didn't know when. And they had tunnels underground and through both of those islands. And we conquered those, and the dead, when we broke up all organized resistance, the general in charge of the operation was right there, and he ordered us back to the beaches. We'd done our job. They sent a small life craft, the Navy, from the two transports, picked us up, took us back to the ships. The dead were buried, as far as I know, on the island itself. The Marines, who also lies, were buried, as far as we know, there, because space was at a premium aboard troop transports, and they sent a detail with a tractor blade after we broke up all the resistance and conquered the islands. They brought in a tractor sometime with a blade and started burying them dead right there.
Wow.
And then we went aboard to them, sent the little boats, and we got the Marines who were wounded. They were the first to return to the troop transports, of course, to get medical help. And then the rest of us waited along the beaches until the little Navy brought the small boats, LCRs and so on, to take us back to the ship. And those who were not killed or not injured, I was luckily one of them. We got cleaned up and prepared for the next invasion the next day. And we just island hopped that way and till we got the job done. And so after that, after we broke up all organized resistance, the main in Kwajalein, Kwajalein Atoll was the main headquarters for our operation, because there was fresh water available on that island. Most all the Marshall Islands had no fresh water at all. There were just sand spits, hundreds of them. And then, let's see, before the next operation, they put us on our outfit on a little island where the natives, the Marshallese people who survived the invasion, had families. They did a good job of hiding, obviously, and somebody needed to supervise them and protect them from any stray chaps that had still survived the invasion. And I got to our outfit was put in charge of about 65 Marshallese people, very great people, as a matter of fact. And it was difficult. They didn't understand English. We didn't understand Marshallese, but somehow we were to take care of them there temporarily. And we got along with showing what we were talking about. It wasn't easy to talk with somebody who can't speak your language.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about it is eventually we were on that little island waiting for orders what to do next, and these Marshallese people, as we lived on that little island, taking care of them, they were taken to another island to live, and I can remember they brought us in Navy brought us in small boats and put the 65 Marshallese natives in the various boats, and they left. We waved to them, and they waved back to us as we left, and they were very great people. I got to be around some of them, although communication was a big problem. But that was one of the highlights after combat, was to do the assignment we got to look after those natives who survived the action.
How long did you serve? When did you leave combat or leave the service?
Let's see. I went into the Marine Corps. Pearl Harbor was December 7, 1941. I enlisted in the Marine Corps in Philadelphia. The next month, January 1942. And after this vast experience and coverage of the Pacific, after the second atomic bomb was dropped and the war was over, it was 1945, I guess it was. Yeah. And then, let's see, I was honorably discharged on the West Coast here, and move was to a rehab center to get her health checked up, and
How did you come to end up at Linfield?
let's see. Okay, when we got back to the States after combat, I still remember the day. Having been in the Pacific for a long period of time, your blood thins out. You're sweating every day when you're down there. It's horrible. And don't go there if you have a chance. But when we came back from the Pacific into San Francisco, okay, right into a rehab center called Oak Knoll. Oak Knoll. I guess it was right close to, or in San Francisco, but I just kind of forgot now. But we were there for about 10 days for the inspection and so on. And then they sent us to a brand new facility at Klamath Falls, Oregon. And he had everything, even horses to ride, if you can believe that. brand new facility, a swimming pool. It was luxury. I couldn't believe it, but we're there. Let's see. Probably 6 months or better. And then the Marine Corps gave us a chance to decide where we wanted to go next. They had various places around the country, of course, and one of the places was Tillamook, Oregon. That was an air base there. So there was a small Marine detachment there guarding, so to speak, that air base. And so that's where I went, and I had met a girl at a dance, a fantastic girl, at a dance when we were in Klamath Falls, Oregon. And so I selected, we had to move out of the Klamath Falls because everything is on a time schedule. So we had a choice of 2 or 3 other bases at the time. And I met this girl at a dance, and I wanted to be near her, and Tillamook, Oregon, was not too far away. So I chose Tillamook. And this girl eventually became my wife. She was, when I met her, she was a junior at Oregon State College. And so we were married right after she graduated from from that period. And I was, let's see, right after VJ Day, victory in Japan by the U.S., you got out of the, first of all, I should tell you, when I enlisted in the Marine Corps in Philadelphia, there were 2 or 3 ways you could do it. One was for the duration of the national emergency. In other words, the length of the war, how long the war would be, and nobody knew at that time. Or you enlist as the standard 4-year period. And I was ready to get on with my life. I was through the Marine Corps and satisfied with what I had done. And so I gambled, and rather than sign up for 4 years, I signed up for the duration of the national emergency. And of course, when VJ Day came along, why, the Marine Corps set up a standard program. If you completed, if you did all the things in the program, you got out of the Corps right then and there after you're the commanding officer. The Corps had assigned you out. And that this figure of how long you were in the Marine Corps, the number of months in combat, and those other requirements. Mm-hmm. If you met all those, you could get out of the Marine Corps right now rather than spend 5 years in the Corps. I wanted to get on with my life, and I'd done my job there, and that was it. I'm just not a military person like some people are, you know. And so I met all the requirements, and I got out of the Corps. And from there, I decided I wanted to go to college, and so Linfield was there, and I toured the campus, and I was impressed by the college campus. It is a beautiful campus. And so I enrolled in school there.
So what did you study here? What do you have any memory of favorite professors or favorite classes?
Yes, I did. Have you heard of Harold Elkington?
I sure have.
Okay. He was my major professor in business and economics. A wonderful professor and extremely bright.
Tell me what the campus was like when you got here. Obviously, there were a lot of people like you just out of the war who were coming to class. So, what was the campus like? Can you describe your first memories of being on campus?
There were very few men there because they were in the service.
Sure.
Yeah, and I had been in the service, of course, and I went through Linfield College. On the GI Bill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And let's see, the normal college get your bachelor's degree is 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I completed and got my bachelor's in 3 years by going into summer school each year.
Because you were ready to get on with your life, right?
Yeah, right. I wanted to go with my life, you know. I was getting older each year, you know. And I was fortunate that I survived the war, and I wanted to get on with my life.
Sure.
And so we, as I mentioned, I met this wonderful girl and named Catherine, and we married after she completed her senior year at Oregon State.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had 3 sons, and one of them is Mark City, right next to me here now.
Yes.
One son is in California, and the youngest son, who is David, he lives here in Missoula, as does Mark.
I'm curious. Do you remember any campus activities you were part of? Were you in a fraternity? Did you play any sports? Anything like that?
I was an independent. I was asked to join a fraternity, but I couldn't see some of the stuff was going on was so childish, I thought. And of course, I wanted to get my degree as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just didn't bother with the fraternity. As I said, I completed the 4 years in 3 years by going to winter and summer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about after you graduated? What did you do after Linfield?
I went to work for a collection agency here in Missoula, and the work was a challenge, and I enjoyed the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So I opened up my own business, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And doing collections and repossessions and working out payment programs for debtors and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be a rough business to make it rough, but I had no problems. And I spent about 50 years before I retired it running, and I had my own office in what's known as the Wilbur Building, and self-employed for that length of time, and I enjoyed it. I finally had to quit, and so that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. Tell me how your Linfield experience or Linfield education helped you after you graduated.
I would use the word immensely. I was better able to communicate, I think, with people, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the knowledge was sort of rounded you out, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I think I was a better thinker after I graduated than when I went in as a freshman, because of the work that you do in college, the subjects that you cover and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess you could say the experience helped in thinking, analyzing, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the professors make a lot of difference. Elkington was a fantastic, brilliant professor. He never got his PhD. He had his master's degree, but he had 2 jobs. He taught economics and business administration, which was my major, and then he went to Portland to a college there, and incidentally, ironically speaking, I have a granddaughter who is now teaching at that particular institution in Portland.
That's pretty incredible.
It is. Elkington went up there. He taught night school. Can you believe that? After teaching all day at Linfield, about 2 nights a week, he drove up to Portland and taught a class there in economics and business. And
That's amazing.
it is. He was a very ambitious person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tell me. Go ahead.
You're a graduate of Linfield, are you?
I am not actually a graduate of Linfield, but I've worked here for almost 10 years.
Oh, you work for the college?
I do.
Oh, okay. Well, good work.
Thank you. Have you followed Linfield much as an alum? Have you stayed in touch? Have you sort of watched it grow over the years?
Let's see. I went on a trip with, let's say, I graduated there in 1948. I entered in 45. I graduated in 1940. I couldn't believe the 4 years in 3 by going into summer school. Yes, I went to an economic convention in Seattle with a group of alums, and which is very interesting indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the experience of Linfield was great, and I enjoyed my time there.
Excellent. I just have one more question for you. Do you have any advice for current Linfield students?
That's a good question. I would say if a student there now is thinking of going to completing, say he is a sophomore or even junior, thinking of going to some other institution to complete his bachelor's degree, don't do it. Just stay there and get your degree right there from Linfield. You'll be better off for the experience. It's a great school, and the professors were outstanding. Elkington especially was one of them, and they have a good all-around program. And physically, how many are on campus, and that number?
About maybe 15 to 1,700.
Okay. That's commendable.
It's a good size. It's a good size.
Yep, it certainly is. And it's a beautiful campus.
There's no question about that.
And of course, the president's beautiful home there on the campus.
Mm-hmm.
And your president still lives in that home, does he?
He does.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, Bishop. This has been great. Thank you so much for interviewing with us today, for sharing your memories with us, and I'm going to go ahead and stop recording now. Okay?
Sure. And I want to thank you for listening, and I wish you all success in life if it's possible.